Don't say anything. Wait. June, your image is frozen.
Happy Monday, guys! I think we're live. Erin is gonna take over cooking today because I don't really want to.
Wait, where's your laptop? How are we gonna read comments?
I'll read comments later. Calm down.
Okay.
The people are here to see Erin cook, and today he will be cooking this defrosted package of very bloody gizzards.
Is it blood or just
myoglobin?
fluid?
Myoglobin apparently is what it is. Erin, please tell us, what are you gonna do to your chicken gizzards today?
Wait, shit! I should have had a plan for this.
It's okay, we don't need plans. Erin's gonna cook it in some broth and he's gonna serve it in some noodles, but how he's gonna spice it and how he's going to cook it, I don't really know. So, give it on over to Erin.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be doing a stock basically. If you follow my Insta, you know that I just make stocks like all the time because June buys cheap like $1 or a few dollar bags of bones or offcuts of meat, and I personally try to not to eat too much meat, both at restaurants and at home. I'm not vegan or vegetarian or anything. I just try to limit it because I really love meat. But so I get meat flavor from this offcut stuff like that because I feel like I have no idea if this is true.
You don't have to be that loud, dude.
June's telling me that I don't have to be this loud. But I'm gonna keep being loud because it's my stream now. I've taken over.
Alright.
I'll do what the fuck I want. I'll swear. I'll say the F word. I just did.
Alright.
You can't stop me. What are you gonna do? Demonetize me? It's not even my channel. I'll start my own YouTube channel. Yeah, so I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like buying offcuts of meat, like bones or or organs or just crap like that, is not as bad as buying the prime choices of meat because the animals are mainly being killed for like the bacons and the steaks and
Are
the
you trying
T-bones.
to justify your own meat consumption?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I feel like this doesn't increase the incentive to produce more animals for meat consumption, not that much, because like I said, these aren't mainly being killed for things like the gizzards. I don't know what a gizzard is, really. June can probably tell you.
It's
Other
the
than
stomach of the chicken, basically.
Apparently it's chicken stomach.
Guys,
It's
we're not
delicious.
gonna see Fred today. He's been hiding all day. We have really bad construction. He's been frightened all day, and he's still not very comfortable with us. So he's been. Fortunately, we'll just have to let Fred come out on his own time.
Yeah, Fred came home and he was in the bathroom for a while, and then when he came out of the bathroom, he immediately ran for the first cubby hole he saw. And other than coming out to eat, he's been in there the entire time. He will take some time to adjust. So you guys will have to wait a bit longer to see him because he's shy.
Hi, Vancouver and Singapore.
I'm gonna put this onion back because we already have one.
Okay. Well, I also need onions, dude.
Okay, here's an onion for you, bro.
No, not today.
Okay.
Just for my recipe development. How's everyone's Mondays? Let me adjust the camera so that Erin can show you everything that he's doing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do really boring stuff like slicing onions and garlic. But yeah, this is loosely based on a Chinese lu shui style stock. And I say loosely because I'm not doing the exact right like techniques, proportions for it. You need to cook it for a certain length of time, certain ways. I'm basically just using the spice and flavor profile of it, as in 5 spice or whatever my version of 5 spice is, which is all this stuff that I found in June's cabinet. Although June and I recently learned from Chinese Cooking Demystified that 5 spice actually doesn't refer to a specific 5 kinds of spices. It is just a general term in Chinese cooking for like using a lot of different spices in your cuisine, and that these specific 5 spices vary from region to region and from recipe to recipe, and can often be like 4 or 5, 6, 7, or 8 spices. Like it's not a specific 5 spices. But yeah, I'm doing cinnamon, all star anise or
Show the
anise.
camera, dude.
You can show them if you want.
All right.
It's your stream. I'm doing cinnamon, star anise, allspice, whole coriander, and black cardamom, as well as Sichuan peppercorn. And right now I'm just going to toast those spices in a pot. You can talk to your people.
I'm not sure if we bond over cooking, but you know, it's one way for us to spend time together for the most part without getting at each other's throats sometimes. You know, after 10 years together, you kind of just have heard everything else the other person wants to ever say, and sometimes you just want to be quiet together. And
What's that meme? Is it like Gordon Ramsay? I don't know how to tell. I am always afraid of breaking this thing. Is it like the Gordon Ramsay meme where he's like just a splash of olive oil, a splash, or what does he say? You know what I'm talking about? And then he ends up like using just a giant glug.
you can't just
just
move
like-
the tripod.
Look,
you have
I
to
don't,
move this.
I don't know what the
All
hell
right.
I'm doing.
All right. Okay.
But that's what I feel like when I'm using olive oil is, I'm just like, oh, just a splash, and then it's just a boatload of olive oil.
Nez wants you to tell a story.
I did tell a story. The story is called What the Hell Am I Cooking Tonight? Why don't you tell us a story in chat, Nez? If you think I've done anything over the past year that has merited storytelling, oh man. I don't even know what I did most days.
May I transfer your gizzards into a bowl
Yes.
so that it's not going to leak all over?
Yeah, go for it. We're just going straight in the pot soon anyways.
Okay.
In a minute or two.
But you don't want the myoglobin to splatter the liquid all over.
Should we include the juice, the blood, or myoglobin, or whatever?
But
in
this
it?
is your show, chef. You tell me what you want.
I don't know. Is that ever actually used, or is the liquid always thrown away?
I
You're the chef.
never use it
Okay, you can throw it.
because I don't know how fresh this is. But I also told you that you should probably prep this beforehand because the yellow bits are bitter sometimes, but you didn't do that.
Well, I'm not going to.
All right.
We're going to find out. We're going to see how it goes. There's experimental cooking here. Has anybody ever made a soup stock with chicken gizzards? Probably. Have I ever done it? No. We're going to find out if it turns out to be shitty or turns out to be okay. I will warn you guys, I normally start this way earlier in the day because I let this go for many hours to let the flavors all know each other. So you're not going to see the finished product on stream, but we will get close. You'll see basically how it's going to look essentially. And I will show off my noodles, and maybe we'll cook some lanzhou noodles in an early version of the stock. And the onion chop doesn't really matter here because this is all just going to be basically completely broken down, and I'm not going to use the onion. It's just for flavor.
Are you going to slice the gizzards up at all, or are they going in whole?
Everything's going in whole. This is a very easy recipe. Everything goes in whole. Spices, onion, well, nearly whole for onion. Meats, bones, chilies, everything goes in whole.
You heard him, folks. Everything goes into a hole.
All right, you said that, not me. Here's the gizzards going in. We're gonna let that do some browning. Crank that heat.
Congratulations, Brianna, for being with your partner for 12 years and not killing each other. Fantastic job. Tell us your secrets.
In September, June and I will hit 10. So now we're gonna do those aforementioned spices. I like to toast everything first. That's why I'm not just throwing this into boiling water. I am toasting all the flavors first and then pouring water on top. I have no idea if that actually makes a better result. Oh yeah, that's some Thai dried chilies that we've had in the fridge forever that I use a few of every once in a while.
They used to be fresh. I bought them fresh, and then we didn't use them on time. And then they just sat in the fridge until they dehydrated, and now they're basically just like dried chilies. I do this with mushrooms sometimes too.
One cinnamon stick.
I let my mushrooms just sit in the fridge until they get really dehydrated, and you just have dried mushrooms.
A few star anise. Anise. Can we get a poll in chat as to whether people say anise or anise?
Anise versus anise. Guys, I don't know if you can hear it, but the ice cream truck outside is freaking annoying, and it goes for like 4 hours on the same Pop Goes the Weasel tune over and over again. I swear it's like the CIA trying to torture us or something. Right after 4 hours of construction outside.
Whole coriander or coriander, that's another one that everybody pronounces differently.
Can you say some of that for me, dude?
I mean, I've been using it consistently for months now, so It's been dwindling for sure.
We have a lot of anise, but yeah, Jennifer, that's the ice cream truck.
This is one of my absolute favorite spices in the world. It is black cardamom. If you guys have never cooked with this, and I bet June has shown this in some of her videos already, it has like a magical, mysterious flavor. It's very smoky, the like smell. It smells like a peated Scotch whiskey, but it just provides a real sort of like depth and mystery to food. I don't know, June can probably describe the flavor better. She's obviously the best in the world at that.
It kind of smells like beef jerky and musty wood that's slowly growing in the campfire from a damp, wet ember into a smoking tiny flame. And then you have like a wooden log cabin about 200 feet out, and then like there's a hawk 50 miles out swooping in for the squirrel. That squirrel, they won't see it coming.
So next I'm doing some of this. This is just a random hot sauce I got from a Chinese market. I got it literally only because, I have no idea if this will focus, but I got this only because there's a dude on the front who looks like he's in extreme pain from the heat. And I was like, damn, that looks like my shit. And then I actually don't like it as a seasoning, as a topping for foods, because it has a strong shrimp flavor. Like, I think this is 40% bird's eye chili, and then the rest is mainly shrimp paste. And it's not that I don't like shrimp paste. I really love shrimp paste in like a lot of different dishes, but it's such an overpowering shrimp paste thing. It doesn't really work as a topping, I think, for most things. All you really end up tasting is the shrimp paste. So I use this in the stocks because it gets married with so many other flavors. The shrimpiness doesn't overpower anything.
Yes, you can cook chicken hearts the same way that you cook gizzards, which is to say you can cook gizzards and chicken hearts the same way you cook any meat and any vegetable. Just cook it so that you like what it tastes like. Hi, Jacquelina. June and Aaron, are there recipes that you make similarly? I mean, I don't know. I feel like Aaron really excels at making noodle dishes, and I'm just like mush queen.
Oh, forgot the Sichuan peppercorn.
And green
Crucial
Sichuan
ingredients.
peppercorn. Green Sichuan peppercorn has a different
Absolutely
flavor
love this shit.
profile. That's a lot, my dude. Can I show the people?
Yeah.
So green Sichuan peppercorn has a slightly different flavor than red Sichuan peppercorn, especially if you get it fresh. Green Sichuan peppercorn, I feel like tastes a little bit more like that fresh citrusiness you get out of freshly cracked, really good black pepper. and red citron peppercorn has more of a earthy, mustier taste to it that can get very nice, toasty, and golden tasting. Like if you made some toast and buttered it, it has that kind of nuttiness. Red citron peppercorn is really good. Green citron peppercorn is really good. But I think if I could only choose one, I would go with green. I just really like that fresh citrusy flavor.
It is really
more.
floral. It's really nice. Yeah.
It feels prettier.
It is a very beautiful flavor. Also, everybody knows MSG, June's intimate relationship with MSG. None of this is measured, by the way. I have no recipe for this. We're doing whole black peppercorns. I do whole everything spices because this all gets strained when I take it out. So,
Yes, I did eliminate Super Chat. I reached out to YouTube and I asked them, can I still keep the money that people have already sent me if I turn off Super Chat now, even if that amount is not yet in my AdSense account? And they said, yes, if it's showing up on your analytics page, you should be able to keep those funds. So I turned it off because I hated giving Google my money, or your money rather, that you gave me.
30% is crazy.
Dried garlic slices.
Yeah, because I didn't use nearly enough garlic cloves. The fresh garlic, so there, garlic. Always more garlic. That's my secret to cooking. More olive oil and more garlic.
Very
So I've always
Italian of you.
Yes. Well, they make good food over there in Italia.
Jacqueline, I have bit into a whole peppercorn before, but you know what's worse? Eating a whole star anise.
I dared June to eat a whole star anise. And the mad lad, she did it.
Chewbacca says Twitch does 30% too.
No, that's not what I researched, but I don't know if you use their built-in like bits and donation thing, but if you do PayPal through Streamlabs,
Right.
that's different.
We didn't dry the garlic ourselves, we just bought it. It came in like a huge spice plastic jar. It was just dried garlic chips. You add 50% more garlic, I like quadruple the garlic amount. If this is 2 cloves, we're going in with 8. I've recently started developing some recipes where I'm just like 6 large cloves of garlic. Even that's not enough.
Always more garlic.
Del, what do you mean, what is vinegar?
What is vinegar? What is vinegar?
June, my sourdough starter was super inactive today. She was bubbling like crazy the day before. Do you think she's still healthy? Sourdough starters are surprisingly, whatchamacallit. It's not persistent. I'm losing the word. Resilient. They are very resilient. So it totally depends. Did you feed it? Did you feed it at a regular interval? Did your temperature, ambient temperature, go up today? Is it a lot warmer? If it's a lot warmer, it tends to peak a lot sooner than it used to be before. So if it's inactive, is it dead or is it just running out of food? You might just want to feed it. Lee, I will not come out with a cookbook. It is not my thing. Not my thing, babe.
Yeah, the whole point of I think June's cooking style is not having specific written recipes for things. Like it's all about being resourceful, being creative, and making do with whatever you can find, you know, and whatever you can buy for cheap. Although I don't think a traditional cookbook makes sense for that framework, but maybe sort of like a book about food and your thoughts about food and, you know, your food ideology, I guess. But not a
also, that's
traditional
just
cookbook.
literally what my Instagram is. And also,
Right.
I was an English literature major in college, and I found it really hard to excel in that academic setting because my mind just goes everywhere. So it just goes, I think this is part of why I suffer so severely from anxiety from time to time. It's just like, if I start thinking about one thing, that flares up a whole network of thoughts, and then I start thinking about everything. So if I start talking about cooking, more dried chilies,
Yeah.
I'm going to try to
Forgot.
eat this, but I don't think I can eat that very much because he's just killing it with chili.
This is the same
But,
amount I do every time.
I had a lot of feedback from my college professors who were just always saying, like, your paper has no one thesis. You're all over the place. Like, choose one and go with it. And I'm like, no, I must cram 5 ideas in one paper. And of course, the paper made no sense. So if you read a cookbook that I put out, it's not gonna be a cookbook. It's just gonna be like literally what I write on Instagram put into print. Which, why would you pay for that when you can just read it on Instagram?
Next, we're doing this, some Shaoxing cooking wine. This is a crucial ingredient in lu shui, as we also learned from Chinese Cooking Demystified. We learned a lot about Chinese cooking from them.
Except this is not
But this
actual.
is not, yeah, this is the shitty kind. They told us that if you want to make true lu shui, good lu shui, then you should use like the stuff you can basically only find in China. But I'm not in China. This is what we have in local supermarkets, so we'll have to make do.
Eleanor, je parle français un petit peu, but I studied it for 7 years. I went to college. I tested into a level that was beyond just grammar and went into culture and literature study, and I was completely lost because in high school I scored a 4 on the AP French exam, but somehow did not keep up with oral skills at all, so I was so lost in class, and then I just like felt so bad that I quit, so I can't really speak French. Désolé.
This is some really cool soy sauce. I don't know where June got it. It is mushroom soy sauce. What's cool about it is it's very intense and concentrated soy sauce flavor, and it's thicker than regular soy sauce. It smells incredible.
Aged dinosaur, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Ian, in response to your question about cooking gizzards and organ meat like other meat, yes, of course the texture is going to be different. Of course the taste is going to be different, but in terms of heat application, it's totally dependent on the organ. For example, gizzards can't be cooked the same way that you can cook liver, because liver cooks way faster and it's a little bit fattier, so gizzards might take more time to stew and braise, or you have to slice it really thin and then sear it or grill it.
And then just some really cheap, shitty.
It's not really cheap.
Oh, it isn't?
No.
Is it made in Japan? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's Japanese soy sauce.
Yep, yep.
I guess it's just assumed it's cheap because the packaging is plastic and whatever.
It's cheap, but it's
Yeah.
not really
It's
cheap.
just soy sauce. This is just to, I don't add any actual salt, as in, table salt or kosher salt to this. All of the salt comes from the those two kinds of soy sauces mainly.
Hi, Jess. Do I have a favorite cookbook? No, not really, because I don't really read. But when I was auctioning off all of my cookbooks on my Instagram, Lady and Pups cookbook was amazing. I don't even remember. I think it was like The Art of Escapism Cooking or something like that, and the cover is just like a black background with a hand and like a very food porny burger, which is kind of misleading because I thought it read very like macho American, but she's actually a small, tiny Asian lady who just has a lot of personality, and her writing in that book was beautiful. Her recipes are really fun and like fusiony, but not in that kind of flaky fusiony way, just like really thought out fusiony combos, and her photos were amazing, and I feel like she is all self-produced. She started with a blog called Lady and Pups. Very impressive. I see that she's been doing a few videos for Food 52 recently, so that cookbook really stood out to me as fantastic. Erin bought me Salt, Fat, Acid, Heat, which I honestly haven't gotten past like the first 50 pages. I'm just really bad at reading books, guys. Despite being an English literature major, I'm pretty much a failure at reading. Would I ever make merch? I don't know, guys. If I ever have to make a living as a full-time YouTuber, I'll probably need to branch out into income sources, but right now I have a full-time job at Delish, and so I don't even...
And the world doesn't need any more merch.
Honestly, guys, the world doesn't need any more merch, and a lot of people have started sending me some, like, funds through Venmo, and I feel really bad that I even gave it out. Probably another mistake. I'll probably just save it. All of your Super Chat money and all of your Venmo donations, I'll just save in a little tab of, like, how much came through, and I'll just hold it, and I'll probably donate it, or I don't know, because I don't really need that money right now. So, and we don't need more crap. So if you want to make merch, I don't know, I kind of like how the Spleenies Instagram account is developing. I love seeing everyone's cooking. I love seeing everyone's pets. It's just kind of like a hodgepodge of randomness, but we still have like a slightly cohesive community in there, and I just like that feeling of just like grassrootsy randomness.
If you
know?
ever need to sell merch, it should be digital merch, NFTs. Everybody wants a June NFT.
Gigi, if your gizzards are hard to eat, it's either because you didn't slice it like Aaron didn't, and in which case, if you keep it whole, you need to braise it and stew it for hours. My mom stews it for like 5 to 6 hours. You need to, it's kind of like brisket, right? You either go slow and low, or you chunk it, slice it, and you go hot and sear it and grill it or whatever. But if you take a cut like brisket and you cook it only for an hour or an hour and a half, it's not going to get tender. You need to go for like 2, 3, even 4, 5, 6 hours for it to be fall apart. So if you want your gizzards to be tender and soft, just keep cooking them. And make sure that you're flavoring the liquid that you're cooking them in, because they really tend to absorb up all of that goodness.
Like I'm doing, June?
Rebecca, I tried audiobooks once. I get really distracted, and then I just lose track, and then I have to like rewind 20 minutes, and then I just feel very defeated.
June has no focus. She's got to clean her bowls a lot more, which we didn't do today, by the way.
Yes, it's true. Fred is fine, Jess, I think, but he's been very just like cowered away in a corner. I think he's a little bit scared because we have a lot of noise, and he's scared because we're new people, and he's scared because he doesn't know what the hell is going on, and he's scared because he's still kind of feeling sick, so we'll give him some time.
Next, I'm going in with the first batch of water. I don't normally add all the water at once. I just like add some and let it come to a boil and then add more. I have no idea if that actually helps at all. It just feels right to me. So that's what I do.
But like Aaron raises an interesting point, right? We've always been told there's one right way to cook things, and I honestly think cooking is kind of a little bit like language. People can be very prescriptivist when it comes to language, and they say like, oh, you have to say this grammar in this way to be right. But like, what's right? You know, who made the rules? Who made the rules? Who says you can only cook this thing one way, and who says you can only speak in one way? Those are all rules that we made up ourselves. So if you feel like just freewheeling it, if you feel like going against what has been prescribed, if you feel like trying new things and experimenting, fucking do it.
And human culture is always changing naturally. That's how new things are created, through change.
To change. But also to the same. Every day a different utensil. Sometimes it's harsher than others, and you know, we'll try something else next time if that was not to your liking. Yeah, Claire just said my grandpa never follows a recipe, yet he's probably the best cook I've ever known. Cooking, like anything, comes out of practice, and practice comes out of developing your own intuition. Practice is a really good way to just make mental notes and to take down muscle memory, right? A lot of the ways of cooking food is just through kind of almost unconscious absorption of small tips and mistakes that you give yourself. So be open to the process and be open to failing, because failing are kind of just building blocks to eventual success. Maybe.
I think, as people say, if cooking is an art and baking is a science, I think it totally makes sense to follow rigid rules for baking, because you're working within very tight chemistries and like timelines and, you know, just the laws of physics under that. But for cooking, the best way to learn is, as June, I think, tries to preach over and over again, is just doing it over and over yourself, trying to be resourceful, use what you have, and eventually innate feeling and understanding of how food cooks, how food works together, how flavors meld together, will just become a part of your natural, understanding of food. So yeah, you can make some failures early on, and that's totally fine. I remember the first time I ever cooked fish. I just wanted to be. I think I was in high school, and I wanted to be a fancy guy.
You know you can do this.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there I am. I wanted to be a fancy guy who ate fish, and I tried cooking for my family, and the fish just fell completely apart in the pan. And I tried making a red wine sauce with it too. I was literally following a recipe. So I wasn't even just winging this. I followed the recipe, I tried to do it exactly, but my technique was off. The fish fell apart into a pan. The red wine turned purple because I guess I added too much water or something. And it was basically just purple fish mush. It was completely inedible. It was terrible. And if I let that guide me, if I let that initial failure be the basis for the rest of my cooking life, then I would have never branched out and tried to do it again, because I would have just said, oh, I'll fail again. But, fortunately I didn't do that. In college I kept trying to cook more and more, and even though I don't do as much cooking as I used to these days, like my main cooking is mainly these stocks that I do quite frequently, it's nice to have the understanding that if I ever needed to or wanted to, I could just cook for myself food that at least I enjoyed, every night. So you just got to keep doing it, keep experimenting, keep coming up with new ideas.
Cocoa Bits, do you guys like Greek food? Any dishes in particular? There's actually this one restaurant in Astoria that we love, and they always give you this soft grilled pita bread at the very beginning, and I'm totally in love with that soft grilled pita bread, and they give it to you with lots of olive oil and herb seasonings just smacked into that bread.
Okay, no. Second batch of water.
Yes, chef.
So people can see the exciting act of pouring water into a pot.
Samantha asked, what are you from, Aaron?
What are you from, Samantha?
He's from Rochester.
Aaron, what are you from?
Rochester, upstate New York.
Yeah. Bill's country.
Hi, Holly from Yorkshire. Welcome. It's true. Food mistakes, Kath. They can become faves. You just never know until you try something. So that's the importance of experimenting and allowing yourself to have failures. I feel like the way people set aside money for a little treat yourself event, and people set aside money to buy themselves whatever, I feel like you need to set aside some brain space and lower your expectations and just be like, today I'm going to fail. Today we're going to try this crazy thing, and we're going to see if I like it. And if I don't like it, I already set up the mind space to fail. And so that was the purpose of it, and therefore even if I fail, I succeeded in allowing myself to experiment and try something new.
Like this right here. Do chicken gizzards make an okay soup stock? I have absolutely no idea, but I'm gonna find out.
I feel like at this point this is less of a chicken gizzard soup stock and more of a condiment and spicy soup.
Well, I mean that's what a good lu shui and broth, heavy flavored soup stock is. It's about getting those concentrated flavors. And like June told me, I should probably trim off the weird yellow fibers on the chicken gizzards because they might be bitter or something. But of course I'm lazy, so I ignored her. And we're gonna find out if that makes it inedible or doesn't matter. Maybe it improves it.
Hi Anna from San Diego. I've been doing these lives almost every day since I started 2 weeks ago, but there's no promises. I just do them whenever I feel like I'm going to cook something, and if I'm going to cook something, why not have some company over the internets? Welcome.
It's really you guys doing June the favor by
Yeah.
giving her company.
Yeah. You're actually doing a lot to keep my mental health in line.
She should be giving you guys donos.
It's true. Where do I donate to? Where do I donate? I'm gonna give you all of your money back, plus more. I sound like one of those snake oil salesmen. If you give me $10 today, I'll give you 100,000 tomorrow. Tofu brain. I think a lot of people, like, when they watch my budget eats, they're like, why does she say she doesn't measure stuff and then she has a scale out? It's because I know people are going to ask for rough recipes, so I might as well jot down the amounts that I'm putting in. And that's a lot of what I do sometimes when I cook, is I make all these recipes that I never go back to anyway, just to have an account of roughly how much of everything I put in there. It also, keeping a journal like that helps you gauge, like, I wonder what this batter looks like with that amount in it. It's all part of, like, building that muscle memory, building that, like, eye memory of paying attention to what things look like and paying attention to how the batters feel and what that batter will produce later on. It's kind of like internalized guessing over time. It's just expertise. It's just a lot of trial and error collected over time. That's it.
I'm gonna freshen up Fred's water.
Bye, Dal.
Did you ever try ice with him?
No, you should.
Okay, we're about to. Can chat tell us if cats like ice? June said that they did.
Thank you, Rebecca, for reminding us to push in tripod. Yeah, do your cats like ice?
Yeah.
We put catnip in Fred's water bowl last night, and he kind of started drinking it. Naz, I can't kiss Fred for you because he still has ringworm, and we have to figure out how to get close enough to him to actually apply medication and bathe him without him freaking out. Naz says they like ice if it's hot out.
That's more.
Yes, I took my vitamin D. Thank you. Kath says they love ice. It's healthy.
Okay.
I'm your idol? God, I hope not. Idols all need to go. Idols need to die. You need to watch your idols die so that you can be your own idol.
Yeah, she clearly didn't watch Can't Get You Out of My Head if she wants an idol.
Yo, people who didn't watch the documentary series Can't Get You Out of My Head, you need to go Google that right now on YouTube. It is on YouTube for free, streaming right now. It is a 6-part BBC documentary taking you through recent history of how people man these social justice movements, hoping, or at least saying they're hoping, for change for better. And they all just, I won't spoil it for you. You need to watch it. Your cat likes celery? That's good to know. Amelia, I can't show you the cat. The cat is very frightened and hiding away in a cubbyhole. Sorry. Feliway diffusers are helpful to calm cats.
What the hell is that?
I don't know. Does Fred have a blanket? Fred, I tried to give him a towel, but he didn't take it. Gigi, stop asking for my Venmo, and nobody give it out to Gigi. Gigi is too rich.
Fred also is a weird cat in that he actually really likes resting and sleeping on hard surfaces. That's what our foster told us and our adoption center told us, and we found that true. Like, we had a bed and everything laid out for him, but he immediately went to like a hard wooden plank, just laid down on it.
We set out a box for him initially in the bathroom, and I put a towel in there, and because the bathroom was so small, we couldn't put anything else in there. He was actually in the box for a while because there was, I guess, nowhere else to like really situate himself. But once we opened the bathroom door after a couple of hours of leaving him in there, he was just like very curious, and he stuck his little head out of the doorway. And so Aaron and I were just like, well, if he wants to explore, I guess we should let him out. So he like kind of sniffed around, took a look around, went into our living/bedroom, and then immediately hid under the bed for a couple of minutes, and then he slinked into the little cubby, empty cubby at the very bottom corner of Aaron's TV stand. And that's where he has been for basically 24 hours. Holly says, keep cat food away from water. Water near a food source in the wild will be contaminated, so they may avoid it.
I don't know what that. I don't know.
Don't put the food next to the water. Don't put the water next to the food.
Okay, well, he's. I mean, that hasn't stopped him from eating so far.
Yeah, I agree, Talu. Just let him get comfortable. I tried to disturb him as little as possible. I tried to offer him toys. I tried to offer him a little pillow. I made a little pillow out of my softest used socks, and he like used it for 5 minutes, and then he nudged it away. Wei Li, we are cooking chicken gizzards. Aaron is cooking it in a very flavorful spiced broth with a lot of soy sauce and different kinds of chilies and peppers, and he put a little bit of fake Shaoxing wine in there and a lot of flavor, baby. We will probably make noodles with the broth, yes. Aaron,
Yeah.
do you want to show the people?
I will show them my noodles. I will, by the end of the stream, they're in the freezer. By the end of the stream, I'll do what I don't normally do and scoop out and ladle out enough to cook some of these in. This is lanzhou ramen, and I normally cook Japanese soba in the broth just because it's cheap and it's like available everywhere, and I like it. I don't normally get the like pre-made ramen, but I'm treating myself today, and I'm treating you guys. You get to see it. June and I lived in the part of China that has this kind of noodle, and we loved it. Me especially. I ate it every single day. So I'm really excited whenever I get the chance to eat lanzhou ramen again.
Gabriella, how do you make lean meat taste fattier? Add butter, baby.
Yeah.
Add butter!
Weren't they saying that was the secret to Franklin's barbecue? Is that
Beef tallow.
Yeah, just like coating it in just like layers of beef tallow.
Do you and Aaron enjoy the same genres of media?
She doesn't play video games.
I don't play
so
video games. Aaron claims I have terrible taste in music, but Aaron also just likes Steely Dan.
So I have the best taste in music.
You know. Aaron tends to be a lot more politically consumptive than I am. He knows a lot more history
To
and
no purpose, not for any
geography
activist
and
purpose, just because my brain's broken.
yeah, I can't stand politics and I can't connect the dots beyond just the philosophical overarching theme of humans suck. We cannot do anything but fail. So that's where my head is at, guys.
This is about as full as I ever go with it.
Yeah.
And during the course of an entire day cooking it off,
Mm-hmm.
I will normally re-add the water a few times. And I know that results in a less concentrated flavor, but I just, because this takes a long time and I only do it maybe, once a week at most, I like to have, more stock available rather than less. But if you guys do this at home, feel free to, not add water, and you'll just end up with less stock, which will be more concentrated and more flavorful.
Where in China did you meet? We met in Lincang in Yunnan. Beautiful part. It would like rain every day and then turn sunny, and it's just like eternal spring there. And we met during teacher training for our respective teaching fellowships. Another question is, what are your thoughts on cooking with lard? Lard is great. A lot of Chinese pastries are made with lard, but also bacon fat rendered is basically salted lard, and that is delicious. Bacon fat is delicious to cook with, so I am very pro lard. Especially if you're already using the pork, you might as well use the fat. Don't throw away the lard. It is perfectly good fat. You got a lot of Steely Dan lovers.
Well, yeah, they have good taste.
Kath, you like country music? I really like, what's his face? The dude with the huge, like...
Conway Twitty?
No. I mean, Conway Twitty is fine. Damn, I can't remember him right now, but there is a country artist that I am in love with. Now I have to go to my Spotify and look him up.
Sturgill Simpson.
Sturgill Simpson! I love Sturgill Simpson. Somebody said Aaron seems like an Aphex Twin kind of guy.
No.
No, he says no.
You also like Glenn Campbell. All the Glenn Campbell songs I play.
Glenn Campbell. The name of the documentary is Can't Get You Out of My Head. Favorite movies? Aaron, do you have a favorite movie?
I don't. I'll talk about video games all day, but I am less of a consumer of movies.
I love movies. My formative movie viewing experience, I think, will always be Memento by Christopher Nolan. I had to read that Wikipedia page like 8 times and then watched the movie 3 times before I think I got it. I think I got it. Did I get it?
This is 7 servings per container, and I don't want to use all this. So what would be the best way of splitting this? You think just pulling it out and trying to pull it apart?
Well, you can also just cut it with scissors if you don't care about the length.
I do care about the length, so I'll try to pull it apart.
Well, you didn't defrost it.
It is mostly defrosted.
Okay. All right, Aaron.
You guys get to. I hope this is on camera so you can see me just massacre this.
Is it
bundle of
overflowing?
noodles.
Are you giving me a mess to work with?
No, I'm just saying the noodles are going to become a mess when I try
Are
to
you
pull
guys in
them
the
apart.
DSA? Aaron is. Have you ever thought of making the stock in a thermal pot? What is a thermal pot, Lydia?
Like an Instapot or a
I don't have an
pressure
Instant
cooker?
Pot. Aaron, why don't you put a lid on? It'll boil sooner.
Because you guys can see it. I'm filming it. I have the lid ready. I normally do put a lid on it once it's come to a boil.
We buy a lot of our teas from Harney and Sons. They have a shop in Soho, and I really love the store atmosphere. They're very friendly, very helpful. They let you do a free tasting every time you go in. And pre-COVID, they used to do 3 free tastings on the hour for just everyone who walks in. They have like 3 teas on display, and it's actually pretty affordable. One of these tins will run you around $6 for the cheaper teas, which is like a really nice treat. You know, like in New York City, a tin of tea for $6 usually tastes fantastic, and I have quite a few favorites there, so I like them.
There, this is my mess of noodles now. Although I did manage to separate it into a normal 1 standard serving. And I have more noodles for later. I'll turn this down to a simmer.
Aaron lives dangerously. Yeah, he does. Or sometimes he's just a fool.
How do I live dangerously?
By doing this, girl.
What do you mean?
It's gonna boil over.
It's not gonna boil. It's never boiled over. I think just for stuff to boil over, you need like something to give it a foam element. But this is never like foamed up.
Are Harney and Sons tea bags made of plastic or paper? I think
They are. Oh,
the ones that I have, the green tea sencha ones, are paper, but I feel like they do have classier ones
I think
that
they
are.
have the nylon ones
Yeah.
also. But honestly, June and I pretty much never buy Harney in bags. We only buy loose leaf, and we only mainly drink.
Amelia
loose
says, would love to hear Aaron speak Mandarin.
leaf. I did last stream. She should just go watch that.
Tammy, you've missed nothing except Aaron's delicious broth, and no, nobody has seen Fred yet because Fred is a literal scaredy cat. Annalisa, I currently don't have any YouTube channels I binge, but somebody recommended Pasta Grannies, and I've been loving putting Pasta Grannies on and just seeing the different variations of homemade pasta noodles.
Yeah, that was a great recommendation. Whoever suggested Pasta Grannies. It's awesome.
A soft white underbelly sounds cool, Aaron. I feel like you'd be into this maybe. Interviews with people mostly on Skid Row and MacArthur Park in LA.
All right, noted.
Have you guys ever been to Canada? We went to Vancouver. It was lovely. I have a drinking game for the chat. Take a shot every time June calls Aaron girl.
Yeah, girl.
You guys are not going to survive that one. This is luscious looking, isn't it? Look at it. Smell it. It caresses you softly underneath your nose, at your cupid's bowl.
We've been live 48 minutes already?
It kisses your eyelids.
Is that right?
Touches your hair. It's the most gentle lover of all.
We're 50 minutes already?
Yeah, these things go fast,
That's
dude.
crazy. Yeah. I'll scoop out some broth for you soon.
Why don't you
Even
just cook the noodles in there, and that'll help you thicken up the broth, and then you can fish it out with tongs.
I don't think I'll be able to fish a lot of them out. Some of them broke while I was
Okay.
yeah. May I have any scallion?
Yeah. Do you want window scallions?
Any scallion?
Yeah. Can you take some window scallions? This
Yes.
one looks very sad. Can you give me some scissors? My hair parts like this because they did a fantastic job cutting it, and also my hair has been basically trained to part right here. When I had really long hair, I just kept doing a side part, and now I guess it's muscle memory. See, everything's muscle memory, guys. Is that enough for you?
Yeah, perfect.
Hi, Philippines. Yes, it's gizzards. You got the spleen, you got the gizzards. What's next, guys? Hyper normalization. No, I haven't seen that,
That's
Rico.
his previous documentary.
Oh, Aaron has. Yep. Your mom's making pho? Feed me, Mom. Feed me. The noodles that Aaron got are refrigerated lentil ramen. They're very skinny little hand pull noodles.
I got medium thickness.
Medium thickness, but they look skinny.
I think they're gonna puff up a little.
Run like a turtle too. I am not going to be dyeing my hair again because I don't feel like buying dye, and also I'm a very lazy person when it comes to like maintaining my own aesthetics. If you haven't noticed on Budget Eats, I put on some blush, and I try to make sure that there's no gunk in my eyeballs before I film, but sometimes I even fail at that, and then sometimes I have things stuck in my teeth. I just don't give a shit sometimes, you know. Did you get the noodles from a grocery store or a special place?
A Chinese grocery store.
Chinese grocery store. Ooh, we've never had rooster comb, and I've never seen them sold, but Aaron has made chicken feet before, and I love eating it. He makes a fantastic broth with chicken feet. Yeah, Tolu, I know they have a shampoo that deposits color in your hair. It's pretty expensive though. It's like 30 or 40 bucks per color. I just don't feel like it's not necessary, you know. This is fine. We'll work with it. We'll work with what we got. Pig trotters, yeah. Overtone, it's not worth it. I've heard great things about Overtone, but yeah, their marketing is fantastic. Their colors look great, but I feel too lazy about applying color in my hair, and I don't want to spend the money, and I don't want to spend the time, and I don't need it. What do I need? I need peanut butter, but I don't need hair dye.
That cinnamon really comes through in
Yes.
this one stick.
Yes. Tripe. Ooh, I've never cooked tripe. Any tips for cooking tripe? Gabriella, onion skins for my hair. Really? Is it gonna look darker than this? Kath, what happened? Did you say something and I missed? Are you okay? Uh-oh.
Is it flooding again? Are you flooding over there?
Uh-oh. East coast of Australia.
Oh.
Oh no, Kath. Ever think to order from Miami Fruit and do an exotic fruit trying video? And Elisa, I've not had good luck with buying exotic fruits that come from relatively far away. I would much rather just be in Miami and eat it straight from the source. Anytime a local product gets shipped, I feel like the quality is degraded by at least 30%. It's just not worth it. And also, I don't feel like shipping stuff right now. The system is kind of overloaded, and I don't need fresh things to be shipped. Do you have a plan for the near future regarding anything really that you wish to share with us? No, no plans. Literally no plans. I'm not a planning type of person. I thought I was going to do one thing in life, I ended up doing another, and then I ended up doing another, and I think in my early 20s I just kind of adopted this philosophy that I will never actually know what I am doing because I am constantly shifting, and it's okay to not know. In my early 20s, it made me feel very insecure that I didn't know what I wanted to do and I didn't have a direct path, but I think now I'm just like, take life as it comes, because I mean, people literally just step out into the street one day and then die because of an accident. So what's the use in planning things that far ahead of time when you don't even stay you for that long.
Feeding us snacks is the plan.
Naz, I would love to feed you snacks. What would you like? Was the butter mochi not enough?
June, I can't find you on Instagram. Thank 9 stars.
Okay. My Instagram is linked to on my YouTube banner.
Also, I'm pretty sure if you Google June CA, I think your Insta is like the second result, right after Delish. No.
Google knows everything. Gigi, are you asking that because you were gonna find my Venmo? Did you trick me? And Aaron answered you without seeing that you were Gigi? Behave yourself.
I've been bamboozled yet again for the last time.
Did you color your hair blonde? No, I think it's just the lighting.
I have blonde. It looks blondish in certain light. It's like a light brown.
You know what, Gigi? If you want to give me money, I'm not going to turn you down. If you have that much money that you're just like, LOL, I'm going to play a joke on you and trick you into giving you money, okay, I'll take it, Gigi. Thank you.
We are in our early 30s now. It's just the fact that June's streaming in 720p that makes us look younger.
Film on a potato and they will never know how old you are.
If you saw us in 4K, ooh, no good. You wouldn't enjoy that. Nobody would.
I think Aaron has actually... Yoshi, my username is thank number 9. The 9 is a number, not a letter. And Gigi, if you give whatever Venmo name that is, it's probably not me, girl. Make sure my photo is me. But yeah, Aaron has actually gotten younger looking since I met him, and I've gotten significantly older looking. He's been sucking my energy. He's been sucking my chi. Pickle. Y'all are trolling. What is your top kitchen must-haves in terms of ingredients or tools? Tools, I love my cast iron. I love my chef's knife.
A fucking knife, a good knife.
Yep. I love a nice little mini scraper spatula, like my Skelly boy here. Love this, love him.
Speaking of a good knife, I went back today to my original...
Please don't stab me.
Yeah, so it is pointed right at June's heart. Ignore that. I'm just showing them because this has the kanji on it. I got this in college, so this knife has been with me over a decade, and I don't use it often. I mainly just use the cheap Winco knife that we have around here. I don't know if anybody knows that restaurant equipment supply brand, Winco, but oh man, I love this knife. It just, a good knife increases the pleasure of cooking, and if you enjoy it more, you'll do it more often.
It's true. Yeah, I love my knife too. It's also a Japanese made knife. And it wasn't that expensive. It was, I think I said $109 before. Like, it was, I think, on sale for New Year's. It was like $102 plus tax, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's lasted me from 2013 till now.
And that's from Corin?
No, this is from Brooklyn Kitchen.
Okay.
When they still were alive.
Well,
RIP.
Corin, I think, is still around. If you guys are ever in New York and want a chef's knife, go to Corin, Korin. It's a small business. They do only like really high quality imported Japanese cookware. It's way better than buying your knife from Amazon or Williams Sonoma or any of those stupid bullshit stores.
Aaron, is the NYC DSA worth joining?
I have no idea. I'm not involved in it. I just joined it to give them some money. I am very bad at actual political organizing and political activity. I basically just read about politics, consume politics, have my own ideas about politics, and will discuss it with people in my personal life. But other than like donating to Bernie, voting for Bernie, and joining organizations like the IWW and the DSA, I don't really do anything because I'm fundamentally very lazy. And it's just sort of like how June was talking about. It's hard to envision a world. It's hard to envision your change actually, that you want coming into fruition in the world. And so I'm kind of nihilistic about that, but I still have my hopes.
For the peeps who are asking, Aaron, you are pulling in the most views we've ever had concurrently.
Yeah, I see that.
People love Aaron.
You know what? It's my YouTube channel.
All right. What's your...
Hey guys, welcome to Aaron's channel.
This is the whetstone that I use to sharpen my knife. What I do is there's a 1000 side, which is the coarser grit side, and then there's a 4000 side, which is the finishing side. And what you do is you never soak the finer one. You always soak the 1000 side for about 10 minutes or so, and then you flip it and you can look up videos, you kind of gently press your knife at an angle and you'll hear the sounds of it. You'll see the metal streaks kind of start wearing off from the knife, and you'll get this very lovely grit sand pattern coming off of the water on the whetstone. And you just keep going until you stop feeling burrs on either side of the knife. I'm not a professional at knife sharpening. People spend their entire lives finessing this skill. I just do it to the point where I'm like, okay, this feels sharper, great. So this is Aaron's tool. Actually, when I was a restaurant cook,
that's also from Corin. I got this over 10 years ago.
I didn't have money to buy a lot of the stuff that I needed to buy for my very first actual restaurant job, where they gave us a list, 3 pages of equipment we had to bring in on our first day. And it was over like $250 worth of stuff that we had to bring in on the first day of a job that paid us $10 an hour. And I was like, are you kidding me? But thankfully, Aaron had this, and I bought a knife, and I bought like maybe a third of the stuff they told us we needed to have, and I showed up to work, and I just hoped that other people would lend me stuff.
I put their link in chat. This is not sponsored.
Not
I just
sponsored.
Really like that shop.
If you're ever in New York City, you can go in. It's a little intimidating for me. I actually didn't feel comfortable in Corin, which is why I didn't buy my knife there. Their knives are a little bit more upscale. Brooklyn Kitchen had a lot more kind of entry level, a lot more German knives, but Corin is exclusively Japanese style knives. It's either Western style knives made in Japan, or it's Japanese style knives.
Everything is made in Japan.
So it is higher quality. It has a lot of craftsmanship built into it, but that also means a higher price tag. My very first restaurant job was at Court Street Grocers, which has the most fantastic sandwiches, but that was not the restaurant I was referring to that made us buy all the equipment. The first restaurant, well, at Court Street Grocers, I was just basically a sandwich assembler. I didn't really cook. I just put together sandwiches. I also worked front of house. I worked the register a little bit. It was a very small space. And then I worked at Bar Bolanat, which was a fantastic, like, new Mediterranean/Israeli, Lebanese food. And the food was great. It was just very restaurant-y in a lot of not good ways, very high pressure. I remember there was one time where I was new on the garde manger station, and I was responsible for checking up on the mise en place for the night, and I didn't check up on the bag of arugula, which turned out to be really spotty and unusable and unservable. And, you know, with good reason, the chef got really pissed. And so when we found that out, instead of sending me out to like buy more arugula, she sent me downstairs into the prep kitchen area and made me pick out the usable arugula, which was very minimal, out of the whole bag of unusable arugula. And I believe I was down there for like an excruciating hour and 20 minutes, and every minute passed by felt like just pure embarrassment and humiliation. And I feel like that was very formative for me in terms of my restaurant experience and knowing exactly what kind of emotional traumas you walk away with, in addition to the physical intensity that you kind of just wear yourself to the bone. Restaurant world is not pretty for the most part. You earn very low wages with very little worker protection. The culture is such that you are responsible for everything, and every failure you have to own. And people get very angry over food that is imperfect. And I think even though I spent 4.5 years in there, it was very foundational for me to experience that in order to feel comfortable in embracing imperfection. Because, man, working in restaurants that sell dishes for $20 to $40 something is just a whole different world. I could never see myself being on the consumer side of it and feeling comfortable. Not to say that food isn't worth that much, but the whole hype, the whole class that restaurant tries to sell you is a very different story than the food it's trying to sell you.
Do you have suggestions on where to buy spices that's not Amazon?
I collect a lot of my spices from just local stores. I go to a lot of Mediterranean stores in Astoria where I pick up a lot of bulk spices.
Yeah, check local shops.
Manhattan Fruit Supply was in Chelsea Market, and that was the coriander box that you saw Aaron pull out earlier, and that one is like expired for 3 years, but you just
I
toast
feel
it.
like
And
you never buy spices online, right?
I never buy spices online, no. And the chefs do have like places where they source spices. Burlap and Barrel is a new spice company that popped up recently that a lot of chefs are embracing. Comes with a higher price tag, but apparently they pay the farmers much more fairly. So, you know, price tags mean different things. It could mean better marketing, or it could actually mean better sourcing and therefore better pay for the people who actually grow your food. I think you just got to do a little bit of research, and you got to figure out who's actually selling the good stuff versus who's just selling you shit and
Even
telling
though
you it's good.
You have plenty of McCormick in your cabinet. It does the job.
I have plenty of McCormick in my cabinet because I stole it all from the Delish Test Kitchen. We had like 5 redundant spices when we shut down for the pandemic. So on my few return trips to the test kitchen, I just started collecting spices because I realized more and more that I was going to produce more and more content from home, and I didn't want to have to like source all of it when we already had 5 redundant jars of everything there. So I just started taking stuff home. Spices don't stay good forever. I mean, they won't kill you, but they'll start losing their flavor. So I just wanted to make sure that we used up what we had already before buying new.
Are you still doing videos for Delish?
Yeah, that's my full-time job, guys.
Yeah, that's where she works.
You better know that 1,000, 2,000 views on these videos ain't paying the bills. I think I just checked up on it, and my previous lives, each of them has anywhere from $1 to $7 worth of ad revenue.
Yeah,
so to give you an
far,
idea,
June's made about what, $17 on ad revenue?
the biggest night of revenue is when you guys gave me over $200
Right.
on Super Chat, and out of that $200, I'm only getting 130 something. And then I think I have maybe like $15 in ad revenue out of all the videos I've done so far. So just to give you an idea, if anybody's thinking about doing a YouTube channel, even with the abundant amount of ads that are currently in my video, I think I have like over a dozen in some of them, you don't get paid shit sometimes. So just to give you an idea of what YouTube is like, listen, I don't need the money. This is fun. This is a learning experience for me. It's good for me to know in the future in case I do decide to like be my own thing. But yeah, it's hard making a living just making content on YouTube that only a couple thousand people watch. But I'm thankful for you guys here. My current hope for these lives is just to hang out right now. It's not to earn a source of income at all. It's just for the community and the camaraderie and the company for our mental health.
Look at the nice color developing on these gizzards. Really letting that soy sauce spice mixture soak in. It turned, it went from like gray when I first heated it up to like, oh, the color isn't really coming through on the camera. That's too bad. But yeah, it's just like a really nice, rich burgundy almost, I guess now.
What does that color look like?
Yeah, let's find out. Yeah, I guess it's still better. I don't know. I mean, nothing's ever as good as seeing it in real life, I guess, but I just really like how the color's coming along. And what are we at now for the time?
A long time.
Yeah, I guess I'll...
Over an hour.
Yeah, I'll scoop now and we'll cook some nudes. Do we have a ladle?
No,
What's the
not
closest
really.
thing we have to a ladle?
A measuring cup.
Oh, true. Yeah. Perfect. I'm just gonna so to preface, I never would normally take the soup out this early. This is just so you guys can see some noodle action, see some nudes. I know you guys want to see the nudes. I'm gonna scoop some out, and also this is not how I would get the broth out. I filter it through not a sieve, I guess, but just a pretty fine colander. Yeah, a strainer, pretty fine colander. So I'm gonna try my best to not get the spices here. I think I'm gonna get some, but it's fine. I'll eat around it. I'll get that warmed up on the back burner, and then I'll add more water to the main broth. Although this already has a nice color. It's not going to taste bad. It's just not going to be as concentrated as rich as it would be if I let it go the full time. and I have no set time that I cook this for. It really just depends on like my schedule for the day. If I think I've done anywhere from like 3 hours to 9 hours on these broths. That should be good.
Oh yeah, re-spices, definitely. Indian stores have a lot of spices. We have a Patel Brothers here. I got like my turmeric there. I got my asafoetida there. A lot of really good stuff. Definitely check out your Indian stores if you have any. Their spice selection is amazing. Yeah, guys, you don't see ads during a live stream, but I can turn them on right after the live stream ends, so people who are watching this after the live stream is actually not live anymore will probably start getting ads. But that's the great thing about tuning in while it's live, is I can't put ads in because YouTube doesn't actually know what the video is, so they can't cut off a live stream.
Yeah, they can't figure out if it's monetizable until after the video's done. You wouldn't want brands associated with questionable content. My brands.
Yes, Tammy, the black salt definitely came from Patel Brothers, and honestly, an amazing salt. Like, there's a lot of bougie salts out there who claim to give you flavors, but black salt is actually not really processed to have flavors. It's just apparently mined and naturally flavored, a little bit savory like sulfur, a little bit farty and delicious. So it's great. Why not save the concentrated broth and add in extra water when you use it later?
That's a good question. I don't really have a good reason for that, other than I've always done it this way, and I could do that. I just kind of want the broth to all, get married together as much as possible, and I think that works better if it all cooks together. So I have augmented a little bit with water if I didn't scoop out the right amount when I went to cook noodles. I honestly think the way you're suggesting it would work perfectly fine. I'm not saying not to do it. I just do it this way.
Jackson Heights 74th Street not only has awesome spice stores, I mean, that part is Little India, so yes, it has a lot of spices, but that's where a lot of the really great grocery prices are found. So definitely check that area out along 37th Avenue. Bye, Lishun. Have a good night. Yes, Hing, aka asafoetida, very interesting smell. It's almost like if you took like pungent, fresh garlic and made it into a powder and then added it with like black and white pepper and a little bit of like a little tiny bit of cumin, and then you jacked up that spiciness that doesn't hit your tongue as much as it hits inside your nostrils. Kind of like when you eat mustard and it just like flares out dragon's breath through your nostrils. That's what Hing reminds me of.
You want to get these nudes going?
Yes. News are going in.
I should check the bag to see how long these cook for, but
Just enough until it's al dente.
Yeah, I can usually guess.
I don't think your marinade would go bad with asafoetida and black salt. It probably just smells bad. It probably just smells like farts. Guys, what did you think of my very strange video collage yesterday? Did you like it? Do you want to see more of it? Were the sounds too jarring? I didn't do any sound mixing. I just kept the windy, noisy, blasting city on full. there's a word for al dente in Mandarin. Yin,
Uh,
hard.
Yeah, I think we saw it in a video actually. They were talking about that sort of texture. Something about teeth, I think the word involved. I don't know. I'll Google it.
Yes, we'll get more Nez in there, Nez. Jeez. So, like, that basically replaces a lot of my Instagram stories because I felt like on Instagram I tend to post a lot of shots of the city, and sometimes I just have way too many photos, so I feel like it could be really fun for me to just take moving photos, aka video clips, and then slush them together in one video and then show it to you guys. 10, yeah, apparently. I think that's just a direct translation of what al dente is. I don't actually know if that's a phrase in China. Is there a difference between cooking chopsticks and eating chopsticks? I feel like cooking chopsticks are sometimes
Longer.
skinnier and longer.
Yeah.
Marina, I want to see dogs on my walks too. Sometimes I walk with friends and they're like, whoa, did you see that person? And I'm like, no, I was paying attention to the dogs over there.
Ooh. That's really good already.
Is it really good already?
Yeah.
Or is it time to turn the heat off?
Not in the main broth. I don't think those are fully done yet though, the nudes.
Yes, Carol, I think you're right. QQ. It's like very, I think it's a Taiwanese saying. Or is it a mainland saying now too? But I've heard QQ. Yeah, it means like bouncy bouncy.
I really like these nudes. I know they're not the best manjulamian we can get. It was imported from China, so it's been frozen, shipped across the world. But it's what I found.
Whoa, JU. That tip is almost like sourdough, but with broth. So the tip is you save a little bit of your lustre and add it to the next broth.
Yeah, I think that's what's commonly done.
It's your eternal broth. Sally asks, I know you hate plans, but do you want to live in the city forever, or would you like to live in the countryside one day?
June wants an alpaca farm.
I just don't know if I can survive in the countryside. I don't drive, so I would either need to be able to walk everywhere or learn how to bike without killing myself, which is, questionable if I can do that. It's a whole lifestyle change. It would have to be at a period in my life where I'm definitely set on money and I don't need any more and I don't need to be in contact with humans. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
There we go. And then to make it look appetizing, bam, scallions. That's the trick. Green. Throw some green shit on there. I do love scallions too. All right, June, taste.
It's too hot. Are you gonna put any chicken gizzard in there?
No, because you know what? I could, so normally when I've done this, I've cooked straight up bones. I haven't cooked like chunks of meat like the chicken gizzard are. So yeah, let's go crazy. Normally I save the bones and the meat off the bones for June to eat. She picks them clean. But let me try to fish out a chicken gizzard.
You can do it.
Yeah, go for it. I'll wash the cutting board.
I need a place for my laptop to be.
But yeah, this is sort of like a ramen. It's sort of like a Chinese noodle soup. I love both, so that's what I make for myself. It's something that reminds me of both.
How did you get so spice resistant, Aaron?
I mean, it's not something I trained for. It's just, you know, I naturally love it, so I've eaten more and more throughout my life.
One for you and one for me?
Yes. Yeah, we gotta eat the chicken gizzards on camera. People gotta know if they're edible.
Can you give me a tiny little dish?
What kind of dish?
Just enough to contain one gizzard.
Here.
Can I also have onion?
Yeah. I'm gonna strain out the onion anyway, so have as much as you want. Let's see. If Aaron was a spice, what would he be? Come on, you know the answer to that.
It's farty McFarts tonight.
Because the onion?
Yeah.
Nice.
Your noodle bowl is gonna be very hot, dude.
Yeah.
Are you gonna keep this going?
Yeah, this is gonna keep going for a few more hours.
Okay.
All right, let's do. Oh, I like how you folded the noodles over nicely. Okay, I'm gonna get a spoon.
Do you want to eat back here so I can lift the camera up?
Yeah.
And so you don't have to
Let's do whatever you think is best. Do we have the Chinese style spoon?
The what?
The Chinese soup spoon?
Yeah, Aaron, it's in the bag. You told me to put everything away in the bag, so you have to dig for it now.
Excellent.
See?
I'm breaking things.
Yeah, you are.
I'm breaking things.
Can I do it, please?
Nope, I got it. Right here. All right. Look at that richness. Oh my god, I love that color. That's a broth color right there, boys. That's what I'm talking about. Look at that broth color. Mmm. Damn, one of my finest works yet. I can already tell I don't know how the gizzards themselves are going to taste, but they didn't ruin the broth. This is fantastic. Honestly, one of the better broths I've done. And this isn't even, like, close to as long as I normally
So
cook
the
it for.
gizzards are not cooked yet, guys. You can see the resistance against the fork. They're very, very chewy. This one is a little bit more cooked. So
They're
I'm
still
gonna...
safe to eat, though. They've been boiling.
No,
for a while.
they're cooked. They're just not tender. So like somebody else mentioned earlier, why is it so tough? It's because you need to let it go longer. So I'm going to release that one back into the pot. But this one, my fork sinks into it a little bit easier. How is that?
It's great. A lot of the flavor did leach from the gizzard into the broth. So the broth is actually way more flavorful than the gizzard. But the broth is mainly what I'm going for when I cook this. So it's fine.
Mmm. Yum.
I
I
think,
love that slightly chewy texture.
yeah, I think June's going to enjoy the gizzard more than me, honestly, because she doesn't like really, really powerful flavors like I do. And it's got a nice chew. It's got a really good resistance to it. Tanya. If you want to do your fake Chinese word or whatever.
Yum. Thanks, Aaron.
Try some nudes. You gotta let us know how the Wanzhou ramen is. This is my first time doing this instead of soba.
Guys, the gizzards, so good. They have that slight meatiness, that umami kick. And then they have that slight gaminess that you can get out of organ meat. But they're not like stinky or off or anything. It's just like a very nice, rich umami gaminess. The onions are now both sweet and spicy. Really nice. Mmm.
Try the nudes before they get
I
soggy
love
here.
gizzards.
You know, don't let nudes wait. Careful, because there might be whole spices in that.
I see. There's one rolling off the bodacious noodles.
Should we switch from soba now? Yeah, this is too good. I'm not going back to soba.
I'm crying because when you slurp noodles that are spicy, it goes straight into your throat. Tears. The noodles are perfectly dense. They're not overcooked right now, but they will in a few minutes as they sit in here, and they'll just get softer. Right now, they're silky and creamy in terms of texture on the outside, and the middle is a little bit denser, like slightly underbaked bread. It just kind of condenses between your teeth into this almost slight puddingy gumminess.
Sophia, these are lanzhou, hand pulled. I guess we've been saying it in Chinese the whole time.
Lanzhou
Yeah.
ramen.
It's
Ramen, like ramen. Ramen literally means hand pulled noodles. And Lanzhou is a city in China where they're famous for their hand pulled noodles. You know what? The broth is fine, but it's so much better when you get the broth on the noodles and then you eat the noodles. It makes the broth come alive. They have to like dance a little bit in your mouth, you know?
It's almost as if noodle soups have been eating for thousands of years because it's really good together. Almost.
The broth on its own is like very nicely silky with that slight umami MSG curve on it, and then you can get a little bit of the spices, but they're dulled. But once you get that sweet, carby, doughy noodle in your mouth, there's a chemical reaction there that happens to your taste buds that is like sweet meets salty, salty meets sweet, and then together you will make a spicy umami baby. And there you go. You chew, it comes alive, it branches into your gums, it dances around your tongue, it plops on your palate, and then you're alive.
I'm serious. I'm not going back to soba. I'm glad we were able to experiment with this together because, oh man, I miss Chinese noodles. They're incredible. All right. Well,
Guys.
that's dinner.
You asked for Aaron cooking. Aaron cooked. Aaron
I do be
succeeded
cooked.
in cooking. Aaron made delicious things, probably way better than my mush, let's be honest.
No, June, you're really good.
I'm gonna give that
No.
noodle an 11 out of 10. I'm gonna give the gizzards a 10.7 out of 10 because they need a little more time, but it is delicious, guys. Absolutely would eat again. It's fantastic. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love that you tune into this bullshit every night.
I give myself a 10 out of 10, not an 11 out of 10, because, you know, you gotta stay humble. Stay humble, people.
Stay humble.
To the person who just said you need a recipe, I know this isn't very zen of me. What the hell did you just watch? What did you just watch?
Stay zen, stay humble, eat good food, experiment. Don't be scared to fail. Let yourself succeed by just trying. Happy Monday, happy Tuesday. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow.